Hi, I'm Miss Hearn. Let's get started. The first type we're going to look at is a vertical shift. A vertical shift. I can only show you these examples each using one of the parent functions in that library of functions that we just saw. Which parent function do you think we're using right now? Absolute value. But instead of graphing absolute value of x, we're graphing absolute value of x plus 3. But the way you do this is to look at your 3 key points for absolute value of x. You're going to get to the point where you can very quickly, this is your goal, where you can look and identify that parent function and draw a very quick sketch. You see its absolute value, you know it looks like this V shape, you know it goes through 0, 0, you know it goes through 1, 1, you know it goes through negative 1, 1. Is the plus 3 inside or outside of the absolute value? Outside. So does that affect the x coordinate or the y coordinate? The y. So you know that what I'm looking for is the pairs of coordinates that have the same x coordinates, negative 1, 0, and 1. But something's happening to those corresponding y's. In fact, since you know that, you could just simply plug in those 3x coordinates to this function. Plug negative 1 into absolute value of x plus 3. You're going to get the absolute value of negative 1 plus 3, which is 1 plus 3, which is 4, right? So this new function f that's based on our absolute value graph is going to go through negative 1, 4. If you plug in 0 for absolute value of x plus 3, you get 0 plus 3, which is 3. So that means it's going to go through 0, 3. And if you plug in 1, you get 4 again, right? So you know that instead of going through, it's going to have the same shape as that V shape parent function, but it's going to go through negative 1, 4. So let's plot that, negative 1, 4. It's going to go through 0, 3, and it's going to go through 1, 4. Now you fill in the shape because you know that this is a transformation of the original absolute value function. You know it's going to look like this. How does that differ from the original parent function that we had? Shifted up 3 units, right? In fact, anytime you add a positive number to an original parent function, it's going to shift it up. So you can find it by plugging in, but you don't really have to. You can always just go through and shift it up 3 units if you want to. Okay, what is the parent function that we're talking about right now? Square root of x, right? Square root function. Before I even think about how it's shifted, identify that we are talking about a variation on y equals the square root of x. You should be able to visualize in your head square root is a half of a parabola, sideways. So you go to the key point 0, 0, the vertex, and you're going to make this shape over to the right. What are the 3 key points that I wanted? 0, 0, 1, 1. Remember, I only picked numbers that were easy to take the square root of. So 0 and 1 are easy, and what else? 4, 2. 4, 2. Then you think about the transformation. What has happened here is affecting which? The x coordinates or the y coordinates? Y. The y. The x's are going to be exactly the same as the ones we have here. Okay? So at your desk, figure out what the y's are going to be and graph the new parent function. Okay, so instead of making a little t-chart with x's and y's, I'm going to use function notation because we're supposed to be using function notation now. So what is f of 0 going to be? Square root of 0 minus 2 is negative 2. That's the same as saying that this function goes through 0, negative 2. What is f of 1 going to be? Square root of 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So 0, negative 1. What is f of 4 going to be? So we have square root of 4 minus 2. What's that? 0. So it goes through 4, 0. Notice that the original parent function went through 0, 0. That point has now moved to 0, negative 2, shifting downward 2 units. The original parent function went through 1, 1. We're now going through 1, negative 1, shifting downward 2 units. The original parent function went through 4, 2. We're now going through 4, 0, shifting downward 2 units. It's going to have the same shape as the original parent function, but everything is shifted downward 2 units. You're essentially doing what? You're just subtracting 2 from each of the original y values. What we just saw was vertical shifts up or downward. Now we're going to look at horizontal shifts right and left. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please remember to like it.